Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube, Diggy546. Today we got Korie Black. He was our last pick of the draft yesterday, our last 7th round pick. And to be honest, I'm not that high on him as a player, but he's a 7th round pick. I think the tight end was kind of special. He did a lot of things well. He just had some injuries. But this player is, in my opinion, a 7th round to undrafted player. Now, I'm not sure what the Giants' plan for him is. I actually haven't gotten to listen to what they had to talk about him, so I'll eventually go and do that. He has some physical tools, but he does a ton of grabbing, more grabbing than normal. So let's get straight into it. This is actually a run play here, and you see the yellow arrow pointing at him. This is actually a run play, but just his ability to shadow here just shows that he has some physical tools. He has some physical tools here. You know, the feet are good. The feet are pretty good. Watch how he just kind of just mirrors everything that the wide receiver is doing. They're dancing. He's dance partners with him. And he doesn't know that this is a run. The wide receiver is running an actual route. So this is a rep. I'm counting this as a rep. Not horrible here. I would like him to see. I would like to see him. Well, actually, no. No, I wouldn't like to see him. I was gonna say have him drop that left foot back a little bit more, but he's pretty much exactly square with the wide receiver. So this is a really nice rep here, even though this ends up being a run. Okay, so I said he did a ton of grabbing, a ton of things that I didn't necessarily like on tape, and it was almost every other rep he's grabbing, you know, at the top of the route. And that's kind of concerning because it's like, is your change of direction a problem? That's something that I kind of have to think about at that point. But anyway, I think I'll show you a couple of these plays where he's kind of caught grabbing, kind of caught holding and interfering with receivers. And then we'll go into some of the positives at the end. So let's end it on a positive note. But anyway, he's here at the top of your screen. And you're just going to see some grabbing here. There you go. That's the first time. Receiver breaks away. And, you know, because he's holding on to him and he's leaning into the receiver, he's stumbling around. And the receiver at this point would have caught this pass. Receiver would have caught this pass and ran into the end zone. And we can't have that. We cannot have that. You can't be grabbing here. I mean, just the same way on that last play, and this what makes me think that maybe the Giants believe they can correct this, because on that last play, he mirrored that receiver beautifully. His feet are just kind of just late here. And instead of just trusting himself to just turn and run and get back in the phase, he's grabbing. And that puts him in an even worse position than he would be if he just was running from, you know, in a kind of a pursuit position. So this is a tough rep here. This isn't really a rep he really lost. This is just a vintage back shoulder throw. And again, it's not really a rep he lost. Decent coverage right here. You're going to see him turn and run. Decent coverage. But he's got to be able to learn. All cornerbacks are eventually going to learn this. A lot of college guys are never doing this. You're going to have to be able to turn around and play through the hands. Now, this ball is inaccurate because this is a college player, and most college quarterbacks aren't throwing this accurately on a consistent basis unless you're like Jaden Daniels or a guy that's going to the league, you know, that's going to get drafted pretty highly. You're not, you know, this is a catch that's going to be given up. And you've got to figure out how to play, how to put your foot in the ground, stop with the receiver, and at least defend that a little bit. Again, not a bad rep because it's a back shoulder throw. It's not something he's even familiar with playing on a regular basis, but he's got to be able to stop a little bit quicker, get his hand in the middle of the ball and the receiver. And kind of nitpicky there, but again, he's got to be able to play through the ball. All right, so Korie Black has this guy manned up right here, and he's going to get a double move, and he's doing what a lot of corners do when they run into a double move, which is grab. And again, it's like he grabbed and he still kind of beat at the same time. So you don't want to see this. You don't want to see this, but at the same time, maybe he's got the speed to make up. Maybe he's got the speed to make up for it. We don't see because the ball, you know, the quarterback ends up taking off. But maybe he's got the speed to run that down, but I don't want to see this grabbing here at the top of the route. He's grabbing and he's still kind of giving up space. So I would like to see him just trust himself And if he can't trust himself to run with these receivers, then we got a bigger problem. He's a special teamer at best. So to give you some context, I've watched a couple of others games and I've seen some of the more similar things, but this game particularly was a lot of grabbing towards the beginning of the game, and this is when you see some things start to heat up here. So this is a much better rep than what I've seen prior to this at this point, and it's just him playing zone, sitting back, breaking on the ball and just make the tackle, man. Make the tackle. I need you to wrap the guy up. No need to be fancy. You don't need to lay somebody out. You're diving. You missed them completely. Come with both arms, wrap it around the receiver. And worst case scenario, guess what? He's trying to get your arms off of him, and you got your cavalry coming to clean things up. And he's down right there completely. Luckily, his team came and helped him out, but you got to make that tackle there. Got to make that tackle. Nice break on it. I mean, too many yards for me. I hate when defensive coordinators have them doing this. Too many yards. I mean, what, 4 yards right there? 4 yards too much. Stay in the receiver's grill at all times, but it is what it is. Giving up the short route, just come and make the tackle. Just take a look at this tackle attempt. Just completely whiffs on him. All right, so on this next play, you got man coverage, and this receiver is pretty much running kind of a post. He's going to make it a little bit funky here, and this receiver is just running a deep out, pretty much. And it's kind of like a scissors concept, but my thing is he just really I'm not being nitpicky. He just really just holds on to this guy the entire route. The entire route just holds on to him. No flag gets thrown, which is hilarious to me. They never throw flags for this guy. They never throw flags. But anyway, the design is for this to be picked. His man is so late. I mean, even though he's got the dude grabbed up, be a little bit more aggressive there, man. But his man gets picked pretty much, and they end up giving that route to the inside. But just look at how he's covering number 9. He's just got his hands all over him the entire route. I think this is 4 or 9. Either that's 4, but either way, he's just holding him the entire route. All right, so this is another example of a double move, taking him by surprise and him losing to the double move again. And, he starts off in off coverage with this receiver. Maybe he has some tape. I don't have much of his tape, but maybe he has some tape last year or something where he played a lot more man. And maybe, maybe that was more effective, but zone and man, either way, I'm not sure. Maybe he's a bump and run kind of guy. Let's take a look here at this double move. He gets physical again. He puts his hands on him again. I mean, they're not going to call this. It's not a grab. It's just kind of a push a little bit, but he ends up pushing the guy past him. And in the NFL, that's a touchdown. This is wide open in the NFL. Like, if the quarterback misses this throw in the NFL, you're upset. And this is a horrible throw. But again, he gets beat on a double move, and that's just not what we want to see. All right, so Korie Black right here. This next play, I'm like, are you an NPC, man? Like, what's going on with you? Like, he's in a cover 3 right here. So for those who don't know, cover 3, corner on the left side, deep. Corner on the right side, deep. And you got a deep safety in the middle of the field. Easy stuff. It's maybe disguised. I wasn't even paying attention to the safety, but you got a deep safety in the middle of the field, usually in a cover 3. Now, just take a look at Korie Black. Just take a look how he just drops back and he plays his cover through. He's playing his assignment. My problem is this: is if you're playing your assignment, you're outside the numbers. You see 6 here, you see 4 here. You got to help. You got to find some work, man. You got to find some work, whether it be, you just hightailing down here because, if someone catches something, you got to be down there to make that tackle. Whether it be you saying, I'm just going to go after the quarterback, whether it be you just running after this guy. You cannot be here in a cover 3 like a robot. You cannot play a robot coverage and cover nobody. That's 11 versus 10 right there. 11 versus 10. And it's just upsetting that he's just there, just playing like a robot. And this isn't something I continue to see. But it's just something to just take note of that I saw on tape is that he's just playing it as if there's nobody. You shouldn't be this far away from the ball, man. Shouldn't be this far away from the ball. So that's just something to take note of. I understand some people will say, well, what if somebody comes into his zone? No one's coming into his zone, man. And if someone is coming to his zone, it will be this person that's running. So you want to get some more depth there if that's going to happen. So that's just something, again, I noticed not something that happens every play, but something that, he's got to be more aware of. So he started to kind of settle in. He's got man coverage right here, and you're going to get a comeback from this wide receiver, and he's going to be all over it, all over this comeback here. And this is what I'd like to see, man. This is what I'd like to see. The ball doesn't go to him, but this is what I'd like to see. Like, you don't have to grab at the top of the route. Trust that athleticism, because I think he's got enough to play coverage in the NFL. So in this next play, he's playing cover 3, and he's just going to notice the seam here, just stay in his coverage. And this is what I'm saying is, like, you don't have to be robotic, because things like this can happen. And just make sure that you have your zone. And he does a good job of that, running this guy down. Now, you would like to see him notice that the quarterback takes off, or notice that someone catches the ball a little bit earlier. He's not really chasing after the guy with the football. A ton of times the quarterback took off with the ball and he's still trying to cover his man, or he's still doing whatever he has to do in coverage. But sometimes he's got to be a little bit more aware of what's going on the field with the football. All right, this next rep, Korie Black's at the bottom of your screen. A physical rep here. Nice rep where he just breaks this up. Watch him just put the left arm in between the receiver and the football. Jump on his back there. If you get there at the same time of the ball, you can jump on the guy's back. Don't let him catch it. Don't make it easy for him. And this is exactly textbook how you do it. Stick that left arm in between both hands. Go for the ball. And this is a really nice rep, man. Like, this is what I'm saying. I kind of feel like when the guy is kind of in that bump and run type of feel, I feel like he just really likes to mirror, bump and run, and break on the ball. And hopefully we move to that, because we got a Debo, we got Banks, and both of those guys like to do it. Maybe Shane will switch the defense up a little bit, and this is the kind of corner that we're looking for. All right, you got Korie Black again at the bottom of your screen, and this again is a better example of how you play cover 3, where you're not just doing it robotically. You got a guy dropping right there. You notice there's other people running across the field. Let me make sure I take this away, and that's exactly what he does. So that way, when the quarterback's scrambling, he's not just able to look right up the field, and you got a guy wide open, or he's just standing right here. This is a really good rep of him noticing that he's got people coming over to the side, getting some depth right there, making it difficult. Even though the quarterback goes another place, he's doing his job right there. And my man right here, number 0. Well, let me stop. It could be. Let's see whose responsibility is that. Yeah, I think 0 right here in the slot needs to get a little bit more depth. It's just kind of like a busted coverage right there. They all kind of leave. And this is the problem with a lot of these guys on this defense, specifically on this Oklahoma State defense, are just kind of not understanding that sometimes you got to move with the zone like Korie Black does right there. He doesn't need help there. You should be in the middle of the field. So good job by Korie Black, but not as good a job by his teammate there that leaves the guy wide open. All right, so with every corner, you want a rep like this where you can just see him just open things up, see how he can run with these guys, see how he does with the ball in the air for a long time. And there you go. He loses at the line of scrimmage. I mean, this is actually a horrible attempt at pressing. He gets kind of run through. At this point, I mean, the receiver is much bigger than him. I want you to just still put hands on him. But do what you see a lot of these corners do, where they'll double press and they'll be moving backwards. A ton of guys can't do it, and maybe can't, but they'll double shoot. They'll hit a left and then a right to kind of slow that receiver down and stay in front of him. And that way, when this receiver is heading upfield, you're still in front of him about 5 yards downfield. But when a guy's that much bigger than you and you just put your arm out like that, I mean, you're not moving at all. You have no torque, and you're just putting your arm out like you're the bigger guy. And he's just going to get rid of that arm, run through that side of your body, right? Run through that half of your body, and he's gone. Now, at this point, a lot of guys give up on the rep, but he puts his head down, gets back in the phase. And listen, they get a poorly thrown ball. This should be a walk-in touchdown, but because the ball is poorly thrown, he still is able to make a play on it and does a good job breaking it up. Doesn't give up on it. And that's what you need out of your corner. Sometimes you're going to get beat like this. Sometimes you're going to lose at the line of scrimmage, but play through the hands, and you're always going to be in a good position. Really great rep from him here, or great rep with the ball in the air, not a great rep at the line of scrimmage. So Korie Black, newest addition to the New York Giants in the draft. He's a player that has some physical tools. I'd like to see him develop a lot as far as the grabbing department and kind of trust his technique a little bit more, but we'll see how he ends up playing. There's going to be a ton of guys ahead of us. We'll see if he's a practice squad guy. I don't see a guy like this making the roster, but again, I haven't seen a ton of his tape. I've seen a couple games. Maybe there's some tape that the Giants have that, shows them that he's ready to play, but I'm not sure if this guy is going to make the roster just from what I'm seeing so far.